All right. So with the discovery, what's the purpose of the discovery, guys?
Mind the objections.
Great answer, Vincent.
Your limiting beliefs and the problem.
Yeah. Anything else?
The desired outcome.
Anything else?
Understanding why they aren't where they want to be.
Okay. Anything else?
Creating a problem and bridging that gap.
Creating a problem? What are you going to do? Light their house on fire?
Well, no, understanding their problem and making a gap.
Okay. So with a current situation, right? Everybody has one of two things going on. One, they're not in the position they want to be, or one, their position fucking sucks. And their position fucking sucking isn't as obvious as you probably think it is. Some people, yeah, they're going to get on the call and they're going to be like, I have $2 to my name. I'm Kyle Cook, right? But a lot of people aren't happy with their current situation. Like, if you were to get me on a call right now, I'd have a lot of pain because I'm not where I want to be. And I know that I could be doing more, but there's stuff holding me back, right? But I still make 6 figures a month. So with a current situation, it's not always as cut and dry of like, I don't make enough money. I don't have this. I don't have that. A lot of the time, it can also be a mental pain. It doesn't have to be so much of a physical and obvious pain. Can anybody give me an example of what is a common pain you get on a call?
In terms of just mental?
Fucking anything, mate.
I've had a lot of people say to me that they feel like because they're stuck in their job, they're not able to do what their true purpose is, or they're not able to actually do what they want.
So stuck in current job.
Yeah.
Right. So if I said to somebody on this call, I said, listen, I'm stuck in my current job. That's why I'm on the call. What would you respond with? What would be the first question you'd ask me?
What makes you say that?
What do you do?
What do you do? Really? Why?
Just to understand their situation.
Is that the most important part of what I said? What is my current job?
I'd
say, what do you mean by stuck? I'd say, what makes you say that? What do you mean by stuck?
For your son.
Why do you feel working your current job is making you feel stuck, or why do you feel stuck in that job? Something along those lines.
Okay. And why do we ask it? So you were on the right lines, Dexter, right? But the reason I wouldn't ask what is your current job is because that's a question you can ask at any time, right? So one key thing with discoveries is there's questions that we can ask at any time, and there's questions that we can only ask in certain moments. So follow-up questions to things that they say are things that we have to ask right after they say it. So if somebody says to you, for example, they say, listen, man, I've just been struggling recently. You need to ask, okay, well, why have you been struggling? Because you can't go, well, what is your current job? Like 3 questions, then go, and by the way, you said you've been struggling. Why did you say that? Right?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't flow in the conversation. But if we ask all these questions, you can ask at any point, oh, and what do you do at the moment? What is your actual job? So we have 2 types of questions. We have situational questions and we have concurrent questions. So questions that you can ask at absolutely any time in the call. And when you master the ability of knowing when to ask these questions is when you can really start to unravel people's problems, their pains, their objections, everything like that. So some examples of concurrent questions are things like, what do you do for work? How long have you been there? What have you done before? Like, why haven't you made a change? Stuff like that. You can ask that at any point. But situational questions are things that you follow off the back of whatever the prospect has said. So when somebody says, I'm stuck in my current job, the best thing that you can say, as for Callum and Hassan said, would be, okay, well, why do you feel like you're stuck at your current job? And then they'll tell you, and you say, okay, and then they'll give you the reason, which will be, I mean, what response have you got from that in the past, Callum, for Hassan?
Bill Caps.
Oops.
One at a time, fellas.
Well, you can go first, that's fair.
Like respect, working long hours, or I'm making money, but the money I'm making, I feel like isn't my potential, or I'm not being paid enough. Those kind of things.
So you're
what I
not
was going to say
so,
is,
like there, right? So if somebody said that to me, the first thing I'd say is, so you're stuck at your job because they're not paying you enough. Is that not a reason to get out of it?
Yeah, that's why I'm on the call, right?
Yeah, but why would you stay there if you're not being paid enough?
Well, at the end of the day, I have to, make some sort of money to pay the bills, but I want to make more.
So they're paying you enough to get by and survive, but not enough to get to where you want to be.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much, or yeah.
Yeah, no, that's the case. That's why I'm on the call, yeah.
Okay, 100%. And roughly, I mean, how much are you making at the moment? Just to get an idea of your goal.
So I'm making around 2,000 every month.
So like, see how that's a situational question. Whereas like when he's bringing up the money, I can now ask him a tough like question that will get a bit of sales resistance with how much are you making at the moment? Because we're talking about it, right?
Yeah.
It's like if you ever go out with your friends or something, something's happened to your friends. It's like you can only really ask them about it once they bring it up.
Mhm.
Is the way I'd look at it. It's like you can't sit down with your mate and be like, "So your mum died, mate. How are you?" Like you don't know if they want to talk about it until they bring it up. So it's knowing when to come in with the questions.
Well, I do have a question though. Like, what if like there's certain questions that are a bit more difficult to ask, and obviously if the situation comes up, it softens the blow. But what if the situation doesn't come up? How can you still ask that question without getting the sales resistance?
Great question. So the answer is every concurrent question you ask is leading them down the route towards your situational questions.
Can you expand, please?
Of course, that's what I'm about to do before you.
Oh, sorry.
So when I ask you, like, what is your job, right? What do you do? I already know from the setter, right? So I've already thought in my head of when you say, "Oh, I'm in car sales." I say, "Okay, that's pretty long hours, man." I've seen that's long hours. How often do you work? Oh, I work every day. I work this amount of time, right? And then I say, "Okay, long hours. You get to see your family a lot, right?" So I already know where I'm taking it before I've even asked the questions. That's why you should always have a list of the questions that you're going to ask on a call, no matter what. And then you can use like arrows to direct where you're going to take them.
Yeah, that just clicked, because I've noticed that sometimes when we don't do that, that's when in our line of questioning we go to assuming an answer that we want to hear rather than asking the question.
It's how you get really consistent. Like my close rate was always around the same on every offer because my process was just the fucking same. Like I'd always be asking the same questions, but my situational questions would always be different based on what they say.
But
if you look at my transcript, you'd always see the same like 5-6 questions, but the questions that follow would almost always be different.
One thing I want to ask, like, I can 100% that makes sense, right? But how do you like balance it and make it to be a point where you don't just kind of like be scripted robot and just try to push to those questions all the time, and you forget to really understand their exact problem? Because, for example, this is what I always think, because I heard this advice before, is like, what if you're pushing someone, like to use the example you said, what if you're pushing someone in the car sales, long hours, family kind of pain, but they have a deeper pain within something else, and that's their real pain? Do you know what I mean? And you miss out because you just...
Right. Because so what I'm doing, right, is I'm just trying to uncover the obvious stuff, right? It's like if you were an archaeologist, right, you just try and find the biggest bone first. And then it becomes much easier to find the rest of the skeleton.
Okay.
So like the thing that you need to like, so you're only asking 5 questions, right? Of like current questions. That's maybe like 2 minutes. You have another 20 of your discovery where like the systematic questions can lead you anywhere, right? So like that's, like every single call is going to be a unique, different call because of that. But your framework is just structured around those 5 questions. And like I said, you can ask them at any point. So you can ask them back to back to back. And then with your last one, start going into other like situational questions.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
You got it?
No, I get what you're saying. It's basically like, it's the low hanging fruit. You know what I mean? Like you can just get that and then go into the other things.
It's the easiest way to score a point, is the way I'd look at it, right?
Yeah. I get exactly what you're saying.
So obviously, when we first start the discovery, right, that's where we're really going to be relying on our initial questions of what do you do for work, things like that, right? The middle, once you start to get to know them, one thing that you're going to come to identify is what stopped these people from doing it, right? Like, Afra, why aren't you a millionaire?
Probably because I haven't put enough time into a craft to get that good enough to earn that kind of money.
Right. You know that, right? Because obviously it's what you do for a job is to identify what people's problems are, right?
Yeah.
All these people won't have realized the reason they're not where they want to be isn't anything but themselves. The reason all of you are on this call today and you want to get to where you want to be is because you made that change and you're committed to making a difference. These people haven't realized yet that that's on them. So the middle of our discovery is really centered around and focused on, okay, well, why haven't you made a change? What are some usual answers you get to that?
Too busy.
Too busy?
Can't find the right opportunity.
Can't find the right opportunity?
Externalizing, blaming things like the government or increasing prices or so on.
The government? Never had that one.
Yeah, bro, I had that one the other day.
The government? Fucking hell. That's
not sure where to start.
Not sure where to start.
A skepticism of these courses and these kind of things. I've heard they're all scams.
Skepticism. So what are we noticing from all these answers? What are we noticing? What's the common theme with them?
Limiting beliefs.
What else?
They're all external.
They're all objections.
Yeah. They're all excuses, limiting beliefs, and objections. And if you can learn to solve these in the center of your calls and you can change that person's perspective, you get to the end, you say $5,000, and they either say, let's do it, or I don't have enough money. Can I split it up?
Mm-hmm.
And it's really that simple. If somebody says to you, let's say, for example, I was on a call with Hassan, and Hassan says to me, he says, I'm too busy. First thing I'd say, okay, well, are you going to quit your job? Or your kids going anywhere?
No.
Okay, so I guess we're just fucked then. We're never going to make it. No, I'd find the time. I'll make it happen. Well, would you? Because you haven't yet.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you feel like whose responsibility do you feel like it is to put in that extra hours, put in that extra time, even though it might lose some sleep and might have a little less time to do what you enjoy?
It's my responsibility.
Of course it is, right? So you just got to flip the fucking blame onto them because, like, I was busy. When I got in this industry, I was working fucking 12 hours a day in car sales. I was staying up till 3 a.m. taking calls, getting up at 8 and going to the dealership because I just fucking wanted it, right? I could have easily sat on the call with Tom Eider and been like, I'm busy. I'm too busy, man. I'll never make it. And I would have never made it. I'd still be slinging cars now. But I got out of my own way and broke that limiting belief on my own part. If I'm not busy, I'm just using my time ineffectively. Another one. What was our other one? So we had busy. We had don't know where to start. So I don't know where to start, right? First thing you'd say to them is you'd say, okay, awesome. I assume that's why you're on the call today is you're looking for the place to start. Yeah. Okay. And let's say that you found the perfect situation, course, whatever you want to use that feels like the right way to go. And it feels like that starting block to get you to where you want to be. Would you join?
Yeah.
Why?
Because this is finally that opportunity for me to achieve X, Y, Z.
And for you, Afra, what does that opportunity look like in your mind?
X, Y, Z, blah, 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 blah.
And then what do you think we're going to do in the pitch?
But one thing though, like, let's say, bro, like, let's say they've not done something for literally 2 years and they give that BS, like, I don't know where to start. Could you not, like, go a deeper layer? Because that's not the real reason, bro. Because 2 years, for 2 years, you didn't know where to start, bro.
Finish, bro. I was about to tell you.
Oh, okay, sorry, bro.
I think fear of failure plays into that as well.
So
yeah,
you're right. Is so I say, what does that perfect thing look like for you?
Right. Oh, it looks like X, Y, Z.
And I take a mental note of that because when I pitch you, I'm going to tell you that exact same fucking thing, right? But then what I do is I go, okay, and obviously for how long have you been looking for something like this?
I mean, probably like a year and a bit. Well, that's how long I've been struggling.
A year and a bit, and you've not found anything even remotely close to thinking that will get you where you want to be.
I mean, like, I've seen a couple things, but I just don't feel like it's the right thing for me, you know?
Okay, what makes it the right thing?
You know, something like it, I don't think I have anything in specific. It's just like, you know, you can just look at something, I know you've got a passion for it and you can do it. It's just kind of waiting to find that right thing.
Okay, but do you feel like the right thing's just magically going to come across your desk one day?
Well, probably not. Probably not.
Because let me
No.
ask you this, Afra. Obviously, you said you have a girlfriend, right?
Yeah, I've got a girlfriend.
Is she perfect in every way? She's never annoyed you. You've never had an argument?
No, of course not.
No, of course not, right? And the thing is with life, man, is we need to make compromises at some point. So, do you think it's fair to say that right now what we're actually doing is we're just delaying the inevitable and we're actually just pushing the blame onto it not being the perfect thing or it not being the right thing? When in reality, maybe it's just a little bit of a fear to take that jump.
I think it's a bit of both for sure. Like at the end of the day, of course, like you're gonna always have that fear when you do anything. But at the same time, I just don't want to like get into something and then it's like, oh, I don't really like this, you know? So it is both, obviously.
100%. Let me ask you something though, Afra. Would you rather that you got into something, it got you out of your situation, you were able to travel and maybe look into something else? Or would you rather you just continue to work at McDonald's, made 2K a month and never got out of those? Which one would actually be the worst case scenario?
Yeah, worst case is doing nothing and being stuck in my job.
Okay, so it's fair to say then that the only thing holding us back is actually that fear of failure.
Yeah, because obviously if you don't try, you're never gonna get it.
Exactly. Right. So see how I've went that late.
Yeah.
What I did is while I had you in the positive mindset, I got my stuff ready for the pitch. So again, right, it's asking the right question at the right time. So like,
Nah,
while
for
you're
sure, I can
talking
see that.
about the right perfect thing, I'm gonna ask, well, what is that perfect thing, man? Tell me about it. And then when you tell me, I'm gonna fucking kill you because your situation isn't that. Right?
Yeah. Well, you know, one thing, like I see some guys like they ask, this is something I don't know whether I should do. They ask a why now. So like let's say they've been in the same position for 2 years because of X reason. They say, now is it different? And then they get some buy-in and then they go into doing this process. But some people don't ask, like, what's your opinion on that?
You know what? A why now is a 50-50. Like, if you have somebody on the call, right, and they're telling you, like, my life sucks, I need to make this change, I need to do all this. And like they're very open about they know they need to make a change. Why would you ask them why now? Like they've already told you, right? The people that are
Most
why,
of
the people that are why now is
the-
really good for and really effective with is A types, people who have a lot of ego.
Okay.
but more so the timing. So for example, right, let's
Oh.
say you get the fear. So like let's say like for 2 years, what stopped you from taking action? For 2 years, I've been skeptical that there's all these courses online. Okay, well, why now are you willing to take that step, even though there's that skepticism there? Why now after those 2 years? That kind of why now? Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, that's a question I'd ask in every single discovery.
Okay. So you'll ask that and then you'll still go through the limiting beliefs thing.
Exactly. Because I'm going to ask why now, and then they'll tell you what's changed, right? And then you can say, okay, and it's fair to say that that belief held you back. And that's why we're still 2 years on working at McDonald's.
Because then you get tied down on both sides, and like they'll build why they are, and then you still break. Okay, yeah.
Exactly. Gosh. All right. So that's the middle. And then once moving on to the discovery, a huge mistake that I see a lot of people make, and I see it happen all the time on calls, is they get this huge amount of pain and then they go, all right, man, awesome. That's a lot of stuff. So what's the goal? And it's like you've just like murdered this guy, told him that his life sucks. Then you just go, awesome, man. So what's the goal? And there's like no transition into where they want to get to. Whereas what we actually need to do is we need to say, listen, man, I appreciate you opening up. And obviously hearing about your situation, it definitely sounds like something that we need to get you out of as soon as possible. So when it comes to getting out of it, I mean, when we get you into the program, what are the next 3-6 months looking like in your head, if you could imagine them? and like take him on that transition instead of just like, so what's the goal, bro? Because it just ends up negatively impacting the flow of the conversation. So a huge thing is just transitioning them down and also getting the tie down in terms of, so obviously right now you're in a position that we don't want to stay in, right? Would you agree with that? Yes.
Yeah.
So talking about getting to that next stage of life, what do you envision the next 3 to 6 months looking like in an ideal world? And then you get the tie down on him not staying the same. Because if you let them away with staying the same there, they can stay the same at the end of the call. But you can bring them back and then say, remember when we talked about how you had that fear of failing and you said, I don't want to stay the same. What's changed? So you can get that early tie down and really box them off as early and as soon as possible. That's the current. Does anybody have any questions about the current or anything that they want to add? Anything at all?
Yeah, just go back over that last part when you're talking about the transitions into the goals, making that shift.
So let's say you ask me your last question, Sam, transition me into future pace.
I'd be like, just what's changed for you to make this a priority for yourself now? And then from that point, I would go into what they've said to me, and then I'd ask them, why haven't you done anything so far? And then I'd ask them, so what needs to change? And then I'd go into their goals.
But what would you say? So you ask me, why does it need to change? And I say, oh, you know, man, I'm sick of X, Y, Z.
Okay. So then I'd be like, so if you're sick of X, Y, and Z, what do you think that you need to do differently in order to make that change?
I don't know, man. That's why I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from. And, you know, if you would say that you don't know, do you think that in order to reach a certain level or in order to actually do something else that you need to change something?
That, right. So after I ask you, like, so obviously we go through where you are right now, why you want to make a change, right? And then I say, okay, so obviously right now, Hassan, you want to make a change, right? You don't want to stay where you are right now, working in X, Y, Z. And I'm going to give you all of your big pain points, right?
Okay.
I'm going to say you don't want to keep working at McDonald's, working those long hours, not seeing your girlfriend, and not going another 6 months without seeing your friend. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So when it comes to the next 3 to 6 months, obviously all being well and everything working out the way we want it to, what does that look like if you could imagine it and everything worked out perfectly?
Yeah, completely. You're tying in the pain with the future pace.
Yeah, I'm saying like this is now where we talk about getting you out of that pain.
Yeah. And then you
Like,
once they give you that answer,
a
they're
lot of
gonna have
people do a
that
recap before they pitch, right? I do a recap before future pace and
Mhm.
before pitch. But the pitch, all I'm recapping is their future.
Mhm.
Because now, like after the discovery, everything's positive. So when I pitch, it's positive.
Mhm.
Do you know the tie down? Is that after you've done your desires?
No. So that's after I've done like current.
That's so. You, let's say you get the limiting belief, you kill them pretty much, and then you transition into the desires.
Yeah.
How do you get the tie down? Would you not get the tie down right at the pinnacle of the pain of the limited
No,
beliefs?
so it's not like a tie down the way you're thinking about it. It's a very like minuscule tie down. But my tie down is me saying to them, saying, so obviously going through your situation right now, we're struggling with XYZ pain point. And obviously it sounds like that's not something that you want to carry on doing. And it's a priority for us to move away from that. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's my tie down.
But do you still like, because I found it works best to do a tie down right at the top of the pain during the limiting belief, are you willing to settle for that? No, like, are you genuinely committed to being this person, XYZ?
That's after are you willing to how does that, is this something you want to carry on doing? Like, this is right at the end.
Okay. Yeah, so, okay, it's not involved. Okay, makes
It's
sense.
just a recap on the whole thing, and then I get a final tie down before I move on to the future.
Yeah, no, I get you. That makes sense.
It's also just a nice transition into future as well, where you just show them that you've basically been listening the whole time.
Mhm.
Okay. Sweet.
I've got a quick question, Jordan. Obviously, I know this is kind of tailored towards more BizOp, but with fitness, would you still structure it the same? Like you'd get current state first, then limiting beliefs, then future, or
why would you say it's more tailored to BizOp?
just from the conversation that you're having?
They're the exact same thing.
Okay, so you wouldn't go into like goals initially, you would always start with current state.
Always start with the pain, man.
Okay.
Always start with the pain. That's what they buy off of. Nobody buys off their goals. They only buy because they're not at their goals, which is the pain.
I had a question about that. I've seen like certain closes that they won't even do like the desired state in the typical status quo way that the high ticket place thing. Like they literally have like 3 minutes in desires, get decent things, and like bro, their discoveries are so much shorter, and they just put a lot of their like points into the current. Like, what's your opinion on that? Do you feel like you still need to have a crazy desires?
Desires isn't that important, to be honest. Like, if you have a shit, if you have a shit current situation, like your desires ain't saving you.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I don't think I've ever closed anyone from having a good desires, but I've closed people from having a good current.
The reason that desires is important, right? The reason that it actually matters, and this is what I'm coming to now, is because this is what your pitch is going to be. The way that you build your pitch is by going through your desired, right? It's like if you came to buy a car from Yatfer, right? I start with desired. I ask, how many seats do you want? Why do you want this? What do you want? Then the first car I bring you to is the exact desired situation you've just told me. So that's all the pitch is, right? Is the desired situation and how I'm going to sell you that.
How do you like intertwine it? Is it like specific features within the pitch that you use, or is it just like the adjective?
Give me an example of a desire.
Fucking, I want to make 10K per month so I can live in Bali.
100% Atfer. So now I'm in pitch, right? And our third pillar, that's our job board. So all of the jobs we post are anywhere from that 10K a month that you want to be living in Bali, right the way up to 40K a month. So you could be living in Bali 4 times. How does that sound?
That sounds great. Oh, okay. I get what you're saying.
Now you're thinking like, man, like the most I want to earn, that's the least they have.
Yeah.
And it just brings up so much, right? And it just feels like it's personalized and tailored to you.
You're bringing it to them as if like this is the opportunity that's essentially just going to get you what you want, basically.
Yeah, you want them to think like, man, this is everything I've ever been looking for. Well, fucking course, that's my job, right? Like you want them to feel like it's what they need.
Okay. No, that's really good advice, bro.
Thank you, brother. And obviously the middle, right, is a big thing that people miss out on the desired is bringing in the feelings of how they'll feel when they get there. So bringing in, how would you feel when you're making 10K a month living in Bali? I'd feel good. You just feel good. After all these years of struggling in Mackie, you just feel all right if you were sitting on the beach in Bali. No, I'd feel like the fucking man. Because you want to build them up as much as possible in the desired so that when you come to price drop, they have 2 options. 1, they can become the man, or 2, they can go back to serving fries at McDonald's. Like that's the options that you want to give them, is you build them up so much in the desired so that when you pitch, it's literally like a roller coaster. If you pick, do you go down or do you carry on?
Yeah.
And then, I've put this the wrong way around. Transition into the confirmation. So after the desire, just recap them on everything, write down some notes so that you can then tailor the pitch to them, and then you just close the fuck out of them. It's really easy. But that's my absolute masterclass on discovery. Has anybody got any questions around that? Anything that they want to go over?
I see you put cost of inaction right at the end of the discovery. Is that when you normally do yours?
Again, I'm 50-50 on cost of inaction.
Wait, sometimes you don't do cost of inaction?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, if I have a guy who's
really
me on the call, they're like, my life sucks, I'm never going to make it. And then I go, well, what happens if nothing changes? He's just going to be like, I just fucking told you. The only time I use cost of inaction, and a lot of the best closers that I've worked with and I know do the exact same thing, I only use it on A-type and egotistical prospects.
Oh, really?
Like, I don't feel the need on like some guy who's like crying to me and knows they're in the pits.
Yeah.
Like he already knows the cost of an action, that's why he's here.
But can't you like use that to like increase the pain level by like think if you're like being tortured, bro, and someone says you continue to stay in that torture for the next 2 years, how does that affect you? Bro, that makes your pain go from here to like fuck 2 years in that torture.
Yeah, but let me frame it to you like this, right? Let me tell, like, imagine that you were a PT, right? And I came to you and I was like, man, I'm fat as fuck. I hate my life. I hate all of this. And I'm telling you, like, I need to make a change. I need to do this. I need to do this. And then you go, and what happens if nothing changes? I'm like, well, I've just fucking told you for the past half an hour.
I can see.
It's just like you not listening to them, right? Like if somebody's giving you the answers that you would want, like, so the way I think about it, right? If somebody gives you the perfect answer to the cost of an action in the discovery, why would you ask it? They're already aware, right? Like, what is the purpose of asking the cost of an action question?
Yeah, to obviously get pain, continue to get more pain and increase the
You're looking at cost of
threshold.
an action the wrong way. The purpose of the cost of an action is to make the prospect understand the cost of an action.
Okay.
The cost of an action doesn't move the needle for us as closers at all, to be honest. All it
Really?
does, like in the sense of it doesn't get you any more pain. All it does is bring the prospect to the realization of, holy fuck, I'm fucked. That's all it does, right? So, like, if somebody already knows that they're cooked, you don't need to ask it.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go. All right. Anybody else got anything before we jump in 5 minutes?
Jordan, you mentioned something I found interesting about how you specifically, obviously, tailor the pitch to specific personality types. Like the cost of an action, you only kind of really bring in with A types, ego types. You have like a written framework of how you tailor questions based on the personality type.
I don't, to be honest.
That'd be really interesting to see.
I don't tailor questions. I just tailor the cost of an action and why now. That's it.
Okay.
Everything else is the exact same.
Just that, nothing else.
Nothing else. Everything else stays the same.
Why do you find it works better with people that got ego issues?
Because it breaks their ego really quickly. If you think you're the man and then I go, but what happens if you just stay in Mackey's the rest of your life? And you go, well, I'd work in Mackey's for the next 10 years. It's very hard to have an ego after that.
But they usually externalize the egotistical prospects anyway.
Well, that's why you keep looping it back and you go, really? You'd blame it on that? Do you not feel like that's externalizing? I go, so what happens if it's all on you and you stay in Mackey's?
Oh, yeah. Then,
I'm just going to keep them there. I'm just going to keep asking the same question until they admit that it's their fault.
but you know one thing with that, when you're kind of, especially this is more with like A-type prospects, when you're really trying to transfer out of them and they keep, I feel like at points, I guess it's just probably the way I'm doing it, but it's like the sales resistance slowly goes up and up. The more you're trying to re-ask the question and they're deflecting because they're like, bro, fuck off, if that makes sense.
You call them out for deflecting it. Like, you don't just re-ask the question. You call them out for their externalization. You break that and then you ask them again.
It also shows you're digging in the right place.
Yeah. If somebody gets
Yeah, true.
it means you're on the fucking money. Like, that's what pisses people off the most, is when you know you got them. Is when they get angry. They get angry at your fucking questions, bruh. That's the best way to do it. All right, anybody else got anything?
Jordan, you mentioned earlier there was like 5 questions you ask on every fucking call. What are those normally?
What's your credit card, social security card, and expiry date, brother? No, I'll actually make a list and I'll send them through after. I'll get the best 5. I probably have it somewhere. I'll try and find it for you because I have the one that I used to have when I was actually closing. So let me get that for you rather than just trying to whittle it off the top of my head. But they're not gonna they're not gonna be groundbreaking, bro. They're the most basic.
Yeah, I know, I get that.
But yeah. Anybody else got anything?
Covered everything pretty much, to be fair.
Legend. Was that valuable? Was that
Yeah. Are you gonna do another one of these things for like the pitch or for the objections? Something?
Fucking hell, bro. Your membership's going up to $500 a month if you think I'm ever doing that again. Now, of course, I'm building one for pitch, objection, everything, bro. Don't worry.
I'm not gonna. I think it's very useful for the fact that, you know, we go back to the basics when it comes to current, the desired, and actually cementing in on our foundations, because a lot of the times we try and find like little intricacies where we can do like maybe extra things to get better results, but we forget that it could just comes from foundations.
Oh man, if you can get like the month I did 36K, I was a dog shit closer, like technically. Like I just had the basics fucking nailed, and I was just hammering cunts. But, like technically wise, I wasn't that great. Like I couldn't have told you any of the theory. I was like, I just jump on and shank them. Like you don't need to overcomplicate closing. Like it's the most simple thing in the world. Do they need help? Yes. Do they have the money? Yes. Are they buying? Yes. Like you don't need to go into like the psychology of it until much, much later.
Yeah.
And even now, if I was to go back to closing, I probably wouldn't focus on it too much.
If you could pick one leverage thing that helped you improve the quickest, what would you say it is? Like one action?
Buying my course. What would be the like if I went back and I'd forgotten everything with closing, what would I do?
Yeah, like what's that one action that you feel helped you? Like was it taking the live calls, the call review, or
It's
whatever?
calls. Nothing will ever be as good as taking live calls. It's the same as everything in any sport. What's like when you used to do MMA after? What was the best way to get better?
I think it was actually drilling, to be honest. Well, sparring is what is going to make it practically, though, innit? So probably have to say sparring.
Yeah,
because
you can get to a live call, right?
Yeah, sure.
So it's the exact same, right? Like when you play football, you never really know your level until you're in a game.
Yeah, because that's the pressure in it.
Exactly. Like, so just taking live calls is always going to be the best way. So like, I think the reason I got so good is because I was on Tate and I was taking like 12, 15 calls a day. Like I just heard everything in like a month. And then with that experience, I was able to just close anything.
So, but does that not come back to your earlier point? At the start, you should just be in the trenches, taking 12 calls a day, bro, for like 1 to 2 months, and then use that skill.
No, because like, so the thing with that offer was, I'd say 30% of the prospects were worthwhile speaking to. So like, I was probably actually taking like 3-4 calls a day that like my brain was working. So like, if you can get on an offer that has decent volume, like 3-4 live calls a day, you're perfect. Or like even 3 to 6. Live calls are different, right? Because they're not trading, they're actually just like doing it and getting the reps in.
Yeah, who's got the pressure, all of that shit.
With training, you can kind of train as much. Like training should be limited to a certain amount of time, but like work would be slightly different.
Okay.
All right, fellas. Thank you for that. I hope that was valuable. I hope you guys got some stuff out of that. If you have any questions on any of that, just send a message in the group the group chat, the fucking Discord. I'll get back to you. Thank you. Fucking good attendance today. Let's crush this week. I will see you all on Thursday. If you need anything, just let me know.
Appreciate it, man.
Peace, fellas.